Today we'll be looking at one of the more premium entries in the Bluetooth speaker market with LG's new XBOOM 360. This vase-shaped speaker has been specifically designed to blend seamlessly as part of your home decor, whilst the structure has been optimised to minimise distortion and evenly disperse the sound in every direction for a true 360-degree audio experience. That's what's promised anyway, but we'll be looking into everything the speaker has to offer, the pros and cons, and whether or not this is worth your money. Before we start, I want to say that LG have sponsored this video by sending the speakers over for me to test out, but as always this has no bearing on the actual review. This was written completely independently, and as usual I'll be sharing just my honest thoughts with you. Inside the box you get a fabric carrying strap, a USB-C charging cable, the usual paperwork, and then finally the speaker itself. And I also want to point out that once again LG are using lots of sustainable packaging, which is great to see. The speaker itself is made of a high quality plastic and is coated with a smooth fabric. At the back behind a rubber seal is the attachment point for the carrying strap. This is how it looks once assembled. And towards the bottom of the power button, USB-C charging port and an aux port. The power button is satisfyingly clicky, and pressing it will turn on the speaker and illuminate the LED in the water drop glass centre. It sits just above the mid-range speaker, and the shape design allows both light and sound to be dispersed evenly to the surroundings. There's a bass vent at the bottom, and the base of the speaker has rubber grips to provide stability. On top we have the tweeter, surrounded by capacitive touch controls and LED indicators. The controls are extremely responsive, come accompanied by a satisfying gentle beep, and there's a dedicated control for cycling through the different lighting modes. Holding this in your hands, you get an immediate sense of the premium build quality, especially with the significant weight this speaker comes with at just over 3 kilos. Design is a major component of this Bluetooth speaker, with the idea being that this will naturally fit in as an accessory in your home. It's not so obviously a piece of tech, and the speaker's shape, fabric exterior, and the lighting all help to achieve this. There are options for strobe effects and partying, but I think the light is most effective when used to accent the scene or as mood lighting. The candle effect is particularly soothing, so I can definitely see the aesthetic appeal. You'll want to download the LG XBOOM app to get full functionality, which you can see gives us battery info and volume control right up top. You can also toggle between Bluetooth and aux mode, which is nice because it means you can leave an aux device plugged in at all times, but still use the Bluetooth function when you want to. Underneath is a basic equalizer with standard, boosted, and custom modes, and then you'll find the lighting control with 9 preset options. These are split up into 3 categories. Ambient, which is based around whites and oranges, and this is where you can activate the flickering candle effect. Nature, which has more blues and greens, and finally Party, which pulsates with multiple colours. With each of these there's a custom mode, so you can pick your own colour variations and brightness for the light as well. Of course you can simply turn the lights off altogether if you prefer, or are looking to save on battery life. There's a sleep function here too, where you can set the speaker to auto power off after a certain amount of time, and you can set the light to a sleep-friendly warm orange glow, which will gradually dim in brightness before finally turning off with the speaker as the timer reaches 0. My favourite feature here though is wireless party link, which lets you pair up 2 speakers as a stereo pair, or multiple speakers together playing the same audio. The pairing process is quick and simple, and the connection stability between 2 of these has been really solid from my testing. You can change the volume on both speakers simultaneously when paired in stereo, or you can set individual speaker volumes for multi-mode, which is useful if you have them placed in different rooms. Those of you with certain models of 2020 LG TVs or newer will be able to pair a couple of XBOOMs up with your TV to create a surround sound setup. Sadly mine is a 2019 version, so I wasn't able to test this out. My only gripe here is that you can't use the app to quickly switch the left and right channels of the stereo pair. It even looks like you can do this on the app, but sadly you can't. The speaker also supports Multipoint, so you can pair 2 audio sources like 2 smartphones to the speaker at the same time. By default you can pause on one and then play on the other to switch the audio source, and the changeover is pleasingly fast. But if you enable multiplay party mode in the app, you can then change the audio source simply by pressing play on the device you want to hear. You don't need to pause on the other device first, which is awesome, and it changes almost immediately. Sadly though, you can't use Multipoint and wireless party link at the same time. A couple of other things worth mentioning: you do have playback controls and even a playlist organizer here built into the app, though I'm sure most people will be using their streaming service of choice. You can also change the alerts from voice guided to sound effects or turn them off, and you can update the software here too. In terms of specs we have Bluetooth 5.1 and the SBC and AAC codecs. Connection range has not been an issue at all from my phone, and the latency with videos was very low on iOS. There was a tiny delay with YouTube on Android devices though. It also comes with an IP54 rating, so there is some dust and water protection if you want to use this outside. And then for the battery life we have 24 hours of playback, and that's with the lights turned off and at 50% volume. I've managed over 15 hours with the lights turned on and at around 60 to 70% volume, so the battery life has been very good. There's also an auto power off function you can enable too to further save on battery life. The charging time is quite long at around 4 or 5 hours, but on the plus side, it uses USB-C to recharge. So let's talk about the sound quality, and I first want to show you this image of the speaker's internal structure to give you an idea of how this works. The XBOOM not only uses high quality materials, but this structure and the separation of the treble, mids and bass really enhances the clarity of the sound. It's interesting, if you press your ear up against the speaker, you can actually hear the separation of the treble on top, the mid-range underneath, and then the low end at the bottom. But moving even just a foot away, these all coalesce to provide a balanced and high clarity sound. This structure also works to provide an even sound distribution across the full 360 degrees, and you can hear that there are neither dead spots nor any specific sweet spots around the speaker. You get an accurate representation wherever you're stood, and truly omnidirectional sound. That's something the XBOOM does particularly well. I think balanced and natural would be the two best words to describe the sound signature. As I said, the separation is great, so there's this really nice spacious quality to the sound and good instrument separation. Acoustic tracks in particular sound fantastic, and these are ideal for providing ambient or even background music in your home. The low end is rich, and the bass verges on deep to give a full-bodied character to your music. There's very minimal distortion too, even at maximum volume, which is enough to easily fill a small to medium-sized room. But this isn't a speaker for bass heads. This doesn't have that typical consumer-friendly bass-boosted response, so you don't get that thumping bass that shakes the room, and even I must admit I'd like a tiny bit more bass for some of the music I personally enjoy. You can tweak the sound in the app with a custom EQ, but I find the overall quality is better with the preset equalizers. I'd recommend the boosted mode if you want to give your music a kick. Better still, pair this up with a second XBOOM speaker, because two of these together sounds fantastic, and I think that's where you get the best experience from these. Unfortunately, there's no way to accurately demonstrate to you how these speakers sound. There are so many processes distorting the sound, from my microphone capturing, to YouTube's processing, to your speakers or headphones playing the sound. But here are some samples to give you an idea. I mentioned that this was a premium tier Bluetooth speaker, and it retails for $299 or £299, so it is quite expensive. However, it's currently discounted to £200 here in the UK, which is a really great saving. This isn't just a run-of-the-mill portable speaker, but rather a luxury product where the visual aspect is just as important as the acoustic one. Overall, I was impressed by the premium build and design, the clarity of the sound, and the even distribution of it. Useful extras like Multipoint and wireless party links sweeten the deal, and the battery life is great too. There were a couple of things missing I would have loved to see. For instance, there's no Wi-Fi control or AirPlay support, and there's no built-in microphone, which means no smart assistant either. But if you can justify the price, this is a great looking and great sounding speaker that will add to the aesthetic appeal of your home. Let me know what you think about this speaker though, and if you have any questions then do leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer you. Please like this video if you found it helpful, and don't forget to subscribe and turn notifications on so that you know when the next video goes live. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.